Right, so yesterday we all went to a place called Hartington and I wore my slightly knackered trainers, partly only because they're the ones that come first, but the grips were like not so good. Anyway, but we did a 10 kilometre walk. I was like, oh god, did we really do that? I mean, the only thing that really hurts at the moment is like where my toes are, like the bit of bone where your toes start is like a bit achy. My feet not so much, and I realised why potentially my feet have been hurting quite a long time. I was saying like, oh, why my feet, like it felt like my feet were burning. It felt like, oh, why was that the case? I'm like, and I think it's just come down to the fact I've worn my thick socks for God knows how long, and basically like I'm trying some like thinner socks that I've got, and yeah, it just works. Obviously, like I was just saying, like my feet were just proper burning, because when I was on the journey on the way there, I had to take my shoes off, but then I had to take my socks off because it felt like my feet were on fire. And the roads towards the Peak District are so twisty, and there was a point where I was very nearly sick. That's like, stop the car, I'm gonna be sick. So I was literally like thinking, please, that area for stations, well, for areas, so like there must be some areas with stations, right? And Buxton does have a train station. I was like, okay, I'll have a look from Halifax to Buxton and see what that's like, and it's super awkward because you've got to get a rail replacement bus from Manchester Victoria. But then I had a look for Huddersfield to Buxton, because usually going to Huddersfield tends to make it a little bit easier and a bit more beneficial. I'm just going to take the dogs off the lead. And it does, in a really easy way. So I was kind of thinking, oh, it's going to be awkward getting to Buxton for like potentially a day out, and it isn't. It is really easy, and here's why. So Halifax adds all the hassle that you don't want going to a place, whereas going to Huddersfield takes it out. It's so much better. So like, when I looked this morning, it said Huddersfield to Buxton. That's what I typed in. So you go from Huddersfield to Manchester Piccadilly, which is an hour, and then you then get a train from Manchester Piccadilly direct to Buxton. Direct. And I was just like, oh, it's direct. I'm like, surely that's just like one train. And I kept checking the other trains, and they were the exact same. Oh wow, so you actually can get direct trains to Buxton. And I thought, well, I'll just check on Google Maps, because like sometimes it says like, oh, you've got a direct train to here, but it doesn't always mean that it's the final stop. There's more past it. And on Google Maps, the train platform finishes in Buxton. So I'm like, wow, that's just piss easy, isn't it? So if I'm like, oh, fancy a day out in Buxton, it's simple. Train to Manchester Piccadilly, then train to Buxton, which is another hour on top of that. Winner. But then I realised something. When I went to Stockport earlier this year, that was a Buxton train that I got. Potentially, yeah. And I was literally only on the train for like 10 minutes, going to Stockport. So I'm like, wow, it makes so much sense. And you can actually pay for first class tickets, which, do you know, I'd never thought of doing, like ever. But you can get first class positioning on the Piccadilly trains, like going to Piccadilly, and then I presume going to Buxton. So it's one thing I've never really done. I mean, the only time I've ever done it is in Scotland, when the trains were so empty, and it was just like where you could just sit wherever you liked. So it's something I'm going to potentially think about doing. Manchester to Buxton, well no, Huddersfield to Buxton. Oh God, what's caught your attention? Wow, this is so slippery. I think only for the sake of like a couple of quid more. Like, I've been on trains before. I remember the train to Oxford from Manchester Piccadilly, and it was just ram-packed. And then I just remember going in the first class bit, and I was like, wow, there was just no one here. So I think what I need to do, is I have never really done first class before. So see if it's worth it. Yeah, see if first class is worth it. Because the thing is, if I'm going from like Halifax to Hebden Bridge, or going from like Halifax to Burnley, there's no point. I'll just sit in the normal area. And sometimes not all trains have first class. Not all trains have first class, you see. But it's like, yeah, Grand Central trains, yeah. What else? Transpennine trains. Oh God, what do I mean? Grand Central trains. Transpennine trains. But even the standard is really nice anyway for Transpennine. And I think there's Liner as well. And there's Merseyrail, but you're not going to get first class on Merseyrail. It's so shit that economy would be first class, wouldn't it? Right, I'm going to walk this way and go this way. So I think that's the thing I need to try next. Next time I go on a train that's going to be of distance, potentially pay for first class. I mean, if it's going to be like, right, if it's for example, if it's £20 from here to Buxton, but then I get discount, you see, because of my disabled rail card, it might cost me 15, for example, or 14, for example. But if it costs like £25 for a first class, then yeah, I'll do it. But if it's something like 20 to like £60 or something stupid like that, I'll just sit where the other folk are. I've just panicked then. I thought I had the one lead then. So that's something I definitely want to try out. Try out first class. I keep thinking, what is rubbing on my leg? It's my dog just walking right by my side, which is so sweet. Anyway, we did a 10km walk yesterday. So for us to, I mean, they did a hell of a lot more because they ran. They went in water, back and forth. So they did a lot more than we did. So end of the day, we don't need to do that much this morning. Anyway. And when I get back home, I need to move some stuff from outside, because well, some sofas are getting moved. And I really tried, we got some new ones yesterday, and you can't, I've literally got butterfingers. I can't like hold anything. I'm gonna be like, well, I'll just pay someone just to do it, like, you know. But like, I couldn't get a grip. Like, sometimes you can hold the sofa and you can get a good grip. I couldn't get a grip. You like literally put your hand on a flat surface and doing like spreading your hand out, and I just can't grip because like I've just got such soft fingers that my hands just slide off. So I need to move a couple of stuff in the house, so then it's not in the way. I need to move a couple of things from outside so that it's not in the way, and do that. So nice just to wear my Nike Reacts trainers. I was like, when I wore my thick socks, part of my trainer would rub on my foot, and I was like, oh wow, I've bought some trainers that aren't very good. But simple matter is, it all comes down to the choice of sock. I've really not seen anyone this whole time. That's so strange. You normally do see somebody at this time or whatever. And one last thing, if you've got to this point in the video, well done. Actually very good at being organised with footage now, because, well, yeah, I just remember at the start of September having at least 90 odd videos private, and to get them all up individually, and then I was going on days out, so I was adding to that. But to like have now less than 10 videos private is just so much more organised. And it kept saying like footage from a month ago or a month and a half ago, but for it to now just say like 2 or 3 days ago, it feels more like up to date. And the same with the shorts channel, like slowly getting stuff up and whatnot. And once I do literally get everything up, I'm just gonna have a break from it all, as I'm kind of doing the same thing with here. Because I was kind of thinking, oh, with Hartington yesterday, I was like, oh, I'm going to film quite a lot because it's a new place. I only did 4 videos. That's it. I've gone to Halifax, which is 10 minutes from here, and filmed 4 videos. So to only film 4 videos of that whole day out is quite odd. But you couldn't really film that much because of the weather, 2, the terrain, and it was kind of like this, to be fair, but one hell of a lot worse. So thanks for watching for now. I'm going to walk this way, I'm going to walk into Westfield, do like a viaduct circuit, and then walk back home. So thanks for watching for now, and goodbye.